Ashe, peace family, Kanja Queen here, and I have some downloads and information that I want to give to the family. Today we're going to be talking about a few things, some portals that's opening up in the world. We're going to be talking about some ancient myths and history that they're trying to hide from you, but a lot of the things that's been hidden from plain sight is about to be revealed once again. As it says in ancient texts, that happened in the beginning will happen again in the end. Like, life is cycles. So anyway, just want to give a shout out to everybody that's coming up in the building. We're going to dive right along into it. Of course, I got my liquid chlorophyll on deck, and I hope you guys also have your liquid chlorophyll. You can get your liquid chlorophyll from any health food stores, but I like a specific brand that I have in my Amazon link. But that's on my site. Anyway, family, we really have to raise our vibration. And by raise our vibration, there's many different things that we have to do. Currently, right now, we are in a waning moon sign. The moon sign is in Pisces, transferring back into Aries. And so while we're in this dreamlike state, we have to understand that the moon deals with the subconscious, the moon deals with magic, the moon deals with mystery, but most of all, the moon also deals with history because it deals with time, right? Time and space. So when we access this information of the moon, by the way, today is Mercury tapping into that mercurial energy, the god that is an oracle, the god who is able to be the channel and medium between the different gods, the humans and the god race, right? The funny thing is, they've told us that history, the real history, they disguise in myths and legends. But the funny thing is, our ancestors used to always tell us these stories that used to have insight, it used to have meaning, and it also taught us many cultural things so that we can carry it on to our children and tell them the same stories. Storytelling was a very sacred art, and things have happened that suppressed our elders from telling us these stories because if you follow history, you understand that suppression, slavery, indoctrination, forcing the elders were forced to put their children into school systems if they wanted their descendants to carry on. They wanted the best for their children. So they understood the situations that they were in, but they knew that the elders would return reincarnated to bring this knowledge and wisdom back to the people. And these same elders that they always talk about in sacred scriptures and texts are a lot of the times the incarnated you and me, and a lot of us that are called to this path, to this journey. They say that whatever is your calling, it will continue to keep calling you until you answer. Now, there's a reason why the universe blocks certain things in your life, because you're not destined to go that way. The universe will redirect you, because sometimes we get distracted, we go through detours, things happen, right? People come into our lives and sometimes they leave us messages, and it's every lesson brings blessings, right? Peace and blessings manifest with every lesson learned. So, not to digress, but I want to kind of just be very straightforward, and I'm going to just put a disclaimer here. The information that I give is not public opinion. The information that I give will get a lot of scrutiny, and a lot of people may not believe what I have to say. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to make you believe me. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm just simply telling you the information that I got, the downloads and channels that I received, and whatever I say, if this resonates with you, something will change in your DNA that will activate something in your subconscious mind to remind you that you are on the right path. Ashe. So, one of the things we have to realize is that there have always been stories about these giants, stories about angels that came from the heavens, right? When the world was being created, they said, let us come down unto the daughters of man. And we hear stories throughout Greek mythology and Egyptian mythology, Native American mythology, throughout history, different parts of the world. We hear these stories of these angels or these aliens or these superhuman beings that come into Terra, which is Earth, and they incarnate or they make babies with these women. And who were these babies that were part God, part human? They were known as demigods, right? These demigods were more spiritual. They had certain powers, certain gifts, certain abilities, whether it was superhuman strength, whether it was the ability to move things with their mind, whether it was the ability to transportate, to jump from place to place. They have movies about this, and they disguise the truth in supposedly fiction books and fiction movies and stories, and they tell you, oh, that's just a myth, but there's some fact to these myths. And the funny thing is, the history that they teach you is more of lies than the legends that they teach you in these comic books and these movies and stories. So anyway, these angels came down and made babies with these women, and then these demigods were born, right? So these angels that came down, some may know them as the Anunnaki, those who come from the sky, those who come from above. Okay, now then, when they made these babies, they were called Nephilim, right? They say that the Nephilim were giants, that these Nephilim were powerful people, and they said that, they consumed everything, these giants, and they said God had to cleanse the earth because these Nephilim were literally destroying everything. But the truth of the matter is, we hear stories about not all of these beings being wiped out. And we hear stories about there still being people that exist today that have these abilities, these superhuman abilities that these heroes that they talked about in ancient myths still have. People who have superhuman strength, people who are a little bit taller or larger than average, people who have these psychic gifts and abilities that science can't even understand or explain. Why is it that these particular people have different genes than the majority of the masses? You have to understand that just having that one drop of blood, y'all remember that back in the day, the one drop rule, right? Well, it's deeper than what they tell you. See, history makes you think that, oh, it was just about colors, colorism, being black. But it was deeper than that. A lot of these people who had this one drop of blood of the gods, they would try to ostracize them or make them exiled or make them feel some type of way because they had gifts. And enter in the witch hunts. See, the witch hunts wasn't really about these women that were just, burning, doing cauldrons and rituals. No, it was actually enforced by the church, because the church understood that these witches, these shamans that existed still held the history, and they had the genetic makeup of these ancient gods. And they knew, because prophecy told them, because they had their oracles too, that the old gods will rise back up. We hear stories about how the gods left Earth, right? And that someday they will return to claim back their throne. So we went away for a while. We let them have their fun, because a lot of the times when we did incarnate and we did come back here a few times, they tried to kill us. They tried to burn us. They lynched us. They tortured us. They did a lot of evil things to us. And so now they're trying to repeat the cycle again by stopping the genetic bloodline. Now they're realizing, they're like, damn, we can't get rid of these people. How can we stop them from reproducing? How can we stop them from reincarnating? Aha, let's do a massive genocide. Eugenesis. Let's make them infertile. Let's make them unable to copulate, unable to perform. That's why a lot of men that's in their late 20s and 30s are having erectile dysfunction. When has that ever happened? They're putting it in the food, in the water, and in the air. This is why a lot of women are having miscarriages, not being able to conceive a child, not being able to hold a child full term, having all of these vaginal issues with her womb, because there is an attack on you biologically. Understand why you are under biological attack. If you don't understand your history, you are doomed to repeat it. There's a lot of, I can't even say there's a lot. There's a very few amount of us out here that is talking about this, because this is not popular opinion. This information sounds crazy. Trust me, I know how crazy it sounds. And to be honest, you have to question everything. Even question what I say. I'm only here to give you the information. It's your job to do the thorough research. Don't believe what people tell you. You have to see what resonates with your soul, and then you do the research that's necessary, so that way you know where you need to go, which direction that you want to aim towards. Right? So we got to also understand that there's power in our blood. Our ancestors are inside of us. They are always giving us guidance. When we give homage to our ancestors, we give homage to ourselves. And in doing so, we empower ourselves. This is why they want us to forget our history. This is why they want us to just act like history never happened. They don't want to really tell you what happened. This is why they killed off the elders, because they had the ancient wisdom. They tried everything that they could to keep this information away from you. But the elders was wise enough to understand that as they continue to keep telling the stories to the youth, that some way, somehow, the vibration of how we felt, it had a little disconnect there. The vibration that we felt in those stories basically will resonate and vibrate inside of our bloodline. So it's a frequency. And so when we hear about these stories, we hear about these myths, we hear certain keywords like Anunnaki, Nephilim, angels, giants, starseeds. Who are these starseeds? Witches. The word witch has such a negative connotation. Honestly, when you look up the word witch, people always think witches are evil, witches eat children, witches are casting spells on people. But the truth of the matter is, a witch was known as a wise woman. A witch is wit, a person who is witty, right? Those who had that mercurial energy. What is Mercury? Mercury is witty. He's smart. He's the magician. And the tarot card. What does the magician card represent? Mercury. Right? The traveler between space and time. Who is the god of magic? Jehudi, Thoth, who wrote the Emerald Tablets. Right? Hermes Trismegistus, they say in Greek mythology. He has many different names, many different faces, but at the end of the day, it's the same energy. This particular god energy manifested whether it's he procreated with these women and they have this genetic information in them, so they're able to cast these magical spells. Not everybody has it. Everybody can't do it. This is something that's in your blood, and it's a calling that you have. And there's a lot of wise women and wise men that don't even know that they have this bloodline inside of them. But it activates. Things happen in your life to remind you of who you are. There's a certain period in time where you're asleep, you're ignorant, and ignorance is bliss. But something happens that will shake you up. You'll meet a person who will open your eyes. A traumatic situation will happen that will do something to your DNA to awaken you, right? Trauma wakes us up. So that's exactly what's happening. The world is going through a very fast catalyst that is causing us to have and experience stress. And that stress is what's going to activate our dormant DNA so that we can be able to tap into 100% of our brain. Understand that these starseeds that they talk about is the descendants of these Anunnaki, these angels, these Nephilim, these demigods. You got to understand that your dreams are going to be communicating to you. The subconscious mind never forgets. So a lot of the information is in you, is inside of you. You have to seek inside. The kingdom is inside. All the answers that you seek is inside of you. The recent song that I put out called Love is talking about seeking the truth inside of you, not outside. Let me charge my phone because my phone's finna die and I don't want to miss this message. Hold up. Y'all with me? We good? Okay. So another thing is, we talked about the Anunnaki, we talked about the power of the blood. You got to understand that people are saying, one of the things you're going to realize is that these portals are opening up in this world. These portals are opening up that have been shielding you and shielding the public, the ignorant public from what's happening around here in the world. Basically, what's happening is that when these portals open up, you're going to start noticing beings coming out from the woods, beings coming out from the seas, beings coming out from the skies, beings coming out from under the ground. These beings that people have never seen before, but they've always been here. It's just that we've had a cloud over our eyes. And so when we say, oh, we're raising up to the fourth dimension, we're raising up to fifth dimension, as we're raising up to higher vibrations, we're now on the frequency of other beings, the beings that they call mythical creatures. The fact is, people back then were on a higher vibrational frequency, so they was able to see freaking fairies and see giants and see unicorns, see leprechauns, see all of these dragons. These are actual real live beings, and they do exist. But just because you can't see something on the physical realm doesn't mean that it does not exist. We've been conditioned to live in a society where seeing is believing. But we know when we study mythology, when we study the scriptures, when we study sacred texts, what they say, the eyes are deceptive. Do not believe what you see. Do not believe what you see. So this is the only weapon that they have to keep you captured here, is to lock in your five senses, because that's all you really depend on in this physical reality. Once you break free from that, once you remember who you are, once you tap into your true power, once you do this research, once you honestly, to be honest, like when you really are ready for the truth, it's going to present itself to you, right? What they say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Sometimes we think that we're ready for something and we're not. And sometimes situations have to happen to be laid in place to prepare us for the truth, to prepare us for our purpose and our destiny. And a lot of us are in training right now, because I don't know why the year 2025 keeps popping up to me, but I'm feeling like by 2025, we need to already have knowledge about what's going on in the world. We need to have knowledge about our history. We need to have knowledge about, how to grow our own food. Listen, let me tell you something. I am not into fear mongering. Okay? I don't believe in just dropping fear bomb on everybody and being like, all right, well, you're on your own now. Like, we're all going to die. I don't know what to do. Just, hide. No, I don't believe in that. I believe in solutions. And I always tell you guys, look, you got to prepare yourself. If the world is coming into ruin, and if things are going down the drain, then guess what? This old world is about to be destroyed. So what do you need to do? This means that you need to understand survival skills. Look, buy a survival manual. Ladies, men too, learn about foraging. Do you even know the difference between an edible berry and a poisonous berry if you're in the woods? Do you know which herbs and do you know how to prepare salves and ointments in case you get sick or you get injured or something? Do you know how to make tinctures? Do you know how to grow your own food? Do you know how to hunt? What if you need to go hunting and you're hungry? Okay? You need to learn these skills. Do you know how to build? Men, do you know how to build a home? Do you know how to build a hut from mud and leaves and sticks? Do you know how to do that? There was a point in time where we had to go and fetch our water from the river. Now we can just turn on our faucet and get water given to us. We as humans become so lazy. We've become so lazy where we were put here. We came here because we wanted to be chaperones, or we wanted to be caretakers of the earth. We were here to take care of the earth. The earth was going to take care of us. But some way, somehow, we breached that contract because we forgot our contract here. We forgot our contract, and that's why we're in the situation that we're in. You got to realize that the ancestors and our elders were paying homage to the spirits of this land. They understood that the tree has a spirit, the air has a spirit, the freaking four winds, the four directions have a spirit, the four pillars, the four spirits that hold up the pillars of the universe. We forgot all of the universal secrets that our ancestors and elders taught us, and so now who's taking care of the land? Who's paying homage to these energies? Right? This is what I'm telling you. There's about to be a huge cleansing on this planet for all of the parasites that are here making Earth sick. Earth is very intelligent. It's not a stupid rock that we just live on that flows through space. That's what they've told you. No, Earth is a living being. It's an intelligent being. Okay? And so when you disrespect Earth, or just like any physical body, when our body gets sick, what does it do? It cleanses itself out. It attacks the pathogen and it removes it from the body, from the system. What do you think Earth is doing? Earth is detecting pathogens, viruses inside of her body, and she's cleansing it out, whether that's through fire, through water, through air, through earth, whatever element she has to use to get these parasites out. That's why a lot of them are trying to find ways to escape. But you can't escape. They put a trap here to trap us, but now they've trapped themselves. And the only way, honestly, to get through this is to connect to nature, to understand the power of nature, to get in good cahoots with her. Because honestly, if nature is on your side, then you have nothing to worry about. Y'all heard the story about Noah, right? How God came and gave Noah the message like, hey, yo, look, it's about to be a flood, bruh. You better go get your supplies, get the animals, get what you need to get, because it's going to be crazy out here. And Noah didn't hesitate. Noah was like, all right, cool. You feel me? Nobody believed Noah, so Noah was like, all right, look, I'm just going to build my ark. I'm going to do what I'm instructed to do. God gave this message to me in a vision, in a dream, through an angel, so I'm going to do this. And this is what the oracles are here for. This is what the Starseeds, the descendants of these Nephilim and Anunnaki, right? These demigods have this gift where spirit is like, yo, look, I'm putting the word in your ear so you can tell your peoples to get ready, because it's just about to get real out here. Even a time when there was a big pestilence in Egypt, and spirit was like, look, bruh, tell everybody to put this freaking goat's blood over their door, because I'm about to send that spirit of death to everybody except those who got this mark on the door. So we got to realize that every time there was some type of a wave of cleansing or a wave of pestilence, pestilence always comes before a destruction of a society. This civilization that we know right now is done for. It's done. It's a wrap. You know, they're just trying to hold it together by the very little, the little freaking strings that it's holding by, but it's done. It's only a matter of time. And honestly, like I always said, just learn survival skills. Learn what you need to learn. Learn carpentry, gardening, herbalism. Learn how to freaking forage. You got to learn these skills. These are skills that's inside of us. It's not hard. Like, you really just have to tap into your energy. Information is in your DNA. Your ancestors did it, so therefore you already know how to do it. You got to remember. Remembering means to put back together the pieces. You feel me? T Infinity says, what about when your menstrual cycle is in sync with the moon cycles? I mean, when you in sync with the moon cycles, then, I mean, it means you just connected. You in sync with the universe, girl. And for those people that systems is not in sync with the moon cycles, it doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It could possibly mean that you probably need to rebalance your system. Maybe it's what you're eating. Maybe it's stress. Maybe it's the energy of the environment you're in. Some of us are not supposed to be living in cities. Some of us are not supposed to be living in crazy, chaotic places. Some of us really do belong in the woods. Some of us belong near water. Some of us belong near the desert. You got to know where your calling is. And thank you everybody who's giving badges. I appreciate you. I really do. The earth refused to drink Abel's blood when Cain killed him. You know, a lot of these stories are repeated throughout history. If you just get a chance to just study mythology, you know, like I always recommend study mythology, study symbolism, get a dream book, get a dream journal, and understand how your dreams communicate to you, because your ancestors and spirit guides try to talk to you in that realm. And for the people that's stubborn, because there's some people that's so stubborn that it's hard for spirit to get through to them. So sometimes spirit will will use somebody else to get the message to you. Because maybe for whatever reason, spirit just can't get to you. I don't know. It's tons of reasons that could block you. Oh, thank you. Spirit just said something to me. Spirit said, please be careful of consuming a lot of alcohol at this time, because alcohol is spirits. Now, it's different between consuming wine and consuming hard liquor. Wine is a little bit different, where wine, I was told by someone, I forgot where I got this from, but somebody was telling me that wine actually enhances one's true power. It brings out your true self. Whereas alcohol will make a person black out, make a person act crazy, make a person's eyes just go freaking soulless. Have y'all ever seen somebody black out from alcohol? They don't remember anything. Now, what happens when you black out? You literally leave your body, and there's a spirit that's just waiting to jump in and act a goddamn fool. So you got to be really careful, because these portals are open at this time. There's a lot of beings that's around just trying to jump in people's dreams. They're trying to creep up in your crib. They're trying to masquerade themselves as your ancestors and your guides. They're just really out here acting a goddamn fool because they haven't been unleashed for a very long time. And the fact some people got their hands on some ancient artifacts that they have no business touching, and that's why we're experiencing a lot of these storms and stuff that's happening, because they're trying to play God. There's certain tablets and certain things that were protected by the elders because they were not supposed to be touched. They were not supposed to be used by the wrong people. And so what's happening is now they think that they're going to use these ancient artifacts to harm us, to control us, but what's happening is it's going to backfire, because they don't know the proper sacraments to using these tools. They don't have the bloodline to use these tools. Okay, see, it has to be in your blood to do certain things. And so when you're an imposter and you touch a certain artifact, then repercussions happen. And we're seeing it happen now. So what they're trying to do is they're getting mad. So they're trying to pretty much eliminate you, kill you off, because they're like, damn, if we can't stay on this planet, then nobody can. But they don't realize that that's not going to happen. It's not going to work that way, because at the end of the day, Spirit is telling us how to prepare ourselves. And so the best thing that you could do at this time is will the knowledge. Educate yourself, study. I don't care if you say, oh, I don't have the money right now to go and buy books. They have tons of free websites, sacredtext.com. Google sacredtext.com. I always be giving out free information, guys. It's free, and y'all need to save the files, print it out, do what you can, because I feel very strongly that all of this free information that we're taking for granted right now, we're not going to have it like that. It's going to have to start being oral. We're going to have to start orally telling our stories like we used to back in the day. That's why our ancestors kept everything orally. They didn't write things down, because they knew that if we got so lazy that we need to write things down to remember, it won't be stored up here. This is why a lot of our memory is not correct. A lot of y'all probably can't even freaking remember 5 phone numbers in your contact list. We have our phones to do everything for us now. We have our phones to do math for us now. Back in the day, we couldn't use calculators in school. We had to do the long division. We had to do everything on paper. We had to show how we got our equations. We had to literally use our brain. We had to memorize things. And so we're coming back to that now, where Spirit is like, all right, y'all got lazy. Y'all going to have to start developing your brain. You're going to have to start activating your pineal gland, because y'all fell off, and it's time to step up. So we're going through a boot camp right now. Spiritual boot camp. VP says, I've been dreaming of demons, bloodshed, and just survival for the past 2 days. I always end the dream by yelling prayer at the demons. And you know what? Honestly, like they said, this is not a war about with flesh and blood. Like, y'all, people are expecting this big war to erupt, but this is a spiritual war, and they're after your soul. They're after your mind. And the only thing that to be honest, the only thing you really have control over is your thoughts, your mind. You your will. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to take that from you. They're trying to take your mind from you. They're trying to keep your mind occupied with social media, with constant distractions, with constant things going on, so that you don't have any vacancy in your brain to actually get messages from spirit. How's spirit going to communicate to you if you're always occupied? Never vacant, you're always occupied. There's no time and space to communicate with you. So now they gotta use somebody else to get the information to you. And some of y'all here know, y'all probably guilty of it. Spirit is probably using me to give this information to you because you've been slacking. You haven't been doing the work. And you know I'm right. And it's okay, because guess what? Contra Queen slacks off too. I'm not perfect. It's been plenty of times where I got lazy. I'm like, all right, you know what? I don't feel like doing a ritual today. I really don't feel like doing a spiritual bath. I really don't feel like doing that. And it happens because sometimes, we get lazy. And things happen where spirit is like, okay, you want to be lazy? Well, I'm going to let this happen to you. So sometimes spirit will give us a rude awakening to let us know, hey, you've been slipping with your protection, so this is why this is happening to you. Or, hey, you haven't really been meditating as often, so this is why you have a lot of chaos and confusion in your life. So it has to be spiritual maintenance. It's not just about doing it once and never doing it again. It's really about upkeep. Just like we take showers every day to stay clean. Well, most of us, I hope, take showers and bathe ourselves. But we also have to spiritually cleanse ourselves regularly. This something that was just always brought to us. Like, we don't think about showering and brushing our teeth and taking care of our hygiene. But why is it such a tedious task to spiritually cleanse yourself? So what I would suggest is you make the spiritual cleansing and the physical cleansing one. Why not incorporate it when you're doing your regular shower? Make it easier for yourself. Don't make it such a big task where you feel like it's a headache and you have to prepare days for it. Like, no, make it very simple. Incorporate your spirituality where it works for you. Everybody's practice is different. Don't let people gatekeep you and tell you what you can and cannot do. At the end of the day, spirituality is up to you. It's between you and God, you and spirit, you and the universe, you and your creator. Point blank, period. But anyway, like I said, spirit wants you to educate yourself, learn what's really going on, learn your history, study about the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, the giants, the Starseeds, understanding what eugenics is, understanding biological warfare, understanding what's really going on. Read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Understand what the enemy is doing. In order for you to supersede or overthrow your enemy, you have to understand them. To know yourself and not know the enemy, you'll lose about half as many times. But if you know yourself and you know the enemy, victory is guaranteed. This is why you have to read. Books will change your life. It will awaken something inside of you. There's tons of books that I can give you guys for days, lists of books. But like I say, y'all always ask me for recommendations, and what I always tell you, go to my Amazon list. Go to my Amazon book list. I have a list of books that you should read. I gave y'all a whole website full of books, man. Y'all gotta stop being lazy. And this is not for everybody, because there's some people that really be doing the work. And then there's some people that's like, they don't want to do the work. They want everybody to do the work for them. You gotta realize that we spiritualists that's doing these videos and doing these blogs and putting ourselves on the front lines and giving this information to you, this is years of research, years of studying. This is years of information, like classes we've invested in, things that we've done, and we're pretty much giving it to you in kind of like a fast course way. So it's a lot of information, but it's like, all right, we got to catch up. It's like a catalyst of great awakening that's happening. And we really don't have time to be lazy right now. We had that luxury about 10, 20 years ago, but now we kind of like, I don't know, time is kind of sensitive, So, yeah. Tough decisions will have to be made. A lot of relationships, friendships, and families is not going to work out. There's going to be some divide. There's going to be sacrifices. I mean, what can I say? I'm not going to sit here and butter it up for you. You know, in this journey, people that choose to want to commit and cling on to the old world, and you are ready to go to the next level, I mean, think about it. Look at your life. What has ever happened when you've evolved and you've grown and the people that were once in your circle didn't grow and they stayed exactly where you left them? What happened? Naturally, you guys grew apart, right? It's just energy. Energy, like attracts like, and if your vibration is on a different frequency than your husband, than your wife, than your family members, than your best friend, and whoever it is that's around you, you're not going to be together anymore. You got to understand how energy works. It's either you're going to continue to dumb yourself down to be where they're at in order to just cling on to them. This is why the Buddhists always say attach to nothing. Let go of attachments. I know it's hard. I'm a Cancer sun. Come on now. Like, Cancers are mad clingy. But one of the things I had to learn is detachment. Spirit will humble you and make you learn detachment if you don't willingly try to figure it out. Alicia says a lot of people remove themselves out of my circle because of the frequencies. I can't make this up. Energy never lies. And the more you learn yourself, the more you study yourself, the more you understand yourself, you will understand the universe, because all the universe really is a reflection of you. And when you know yourself, you know the universe, you definitely know other people, and you will know when people are lying to you, and that's when your true psychic gifts come on. That's when you turn on, you come online, and your brain activates 100%. Y'all need to watch the movie Lucy. That's it. I'm going to leave y'all alone with that. I give y'all a lot of information. I don't want to be overwhelming y'all, but you can watch this over. I will post this up. I love you guys. Much studying to you. Protect yourselves out here spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally out here. And be careful with the alcohol, because like I said again, alcohol is spirits. And you don't want things jumping inside of you, right? You want to have a clear mind during this time. Do a lot of meditation. It's a waning moon right now. So this is really great to go within. I love you guys. Take care of yourself. Conjure Queen signing out. Peace.